Hello everybody and welcome to the weekly video. Last week, for the first time in 2 years, we were able to have our residential trip programme run again. And those residential trips are so important because in an international school where we have so many people arriving from so many places, that moment for real team building when those year groups can come together really matters. And so it was so fantastic that we were actually able to start doing it again. And on the whole, the experiences that those students had were amazing. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen students coming back from residential trips looking happier. Probably because these groups of students just have had so little opportunity to go away. And also I had some amazing reports from the trip leaders about our students on those trips. I was told by the grade 5s that the people at on their residential visits said they'd never had a better group of students and how wonderfully they had been. The grade 9s, I've been told that their team leaders were almost in tears because it was going so well. And as we all know, the grade 9s had to come back early, because in their case there was a COVID outbreak. Which brings me to the other aspect of residential trips last week. As the whole community knows, in the case of 2 trips we had to bring them back early because, as is the case for all schools all the way across the UK, we are dealing with certain COVID situations. And what was nice is that everyone rallied. We managed to get those students back quickly. We managed to separate the students who needed to be separate, etc. But what really struck me is even those trips that came back early, like the grade 9s, for example, who only had a day in the end, they were enormously happier even having had that day. And it just illustrates how important these moments are for young students in this day and age. We really do need to try and keep life as normal as possible so that those young people can have the experiences they need and they don't miss out. But the other thing that I think is really important is that we've realised that we've moved into a new stage. Last year and the year before really, when COVID first hit us, we saw it as a crisis that needed to be managed and saw it in terms of a time frame that it would be managed for a certain amount of time and we'd get through it and come out the other end. And actually we were really successful at doing that. As we all know, we went online very early. Our online learning was very successful. We got a lot of things in place. We managed to pretty much ensure that we had very, very little situations where people had COVID within the school. But it's changed now. Now we live in really an era that seems like one of permanent disruption, where there will always be moments where life is disrupted for one reason or the other, and we need to manage and cope with that in a different way. And it's becoming clearer and clearer that for the young people in this school and others, we really do need to work hard to give them as a normal experience as possible. Because that period online was fine, but if you saw the joy on the faces of those students coming back from those trips when they were together again and learning as a team, it just becomes so clear how much they need to have those experiences. Which means that we will continue to run school as well as we can and as closely as we can to normality, and try and do everything we can to normalise experiences so that the students we have today do have a really fulfilling and exciting school experience. Thank you everybody. I look forward to speaking to you again next week.